Hi everyone. Today we have our first book haul in quite some time. I think first one since December? I don't know. I've been buying books. But if you guys watched my tour of our new bookshelves, you know I actually have some empty spaces. So obviously I need to buy a lot more books. Buying books has always been kind of a nesting activity for me. I grew up with a ton of books. My parents had, I think, 3 rooms that had built-in bookshelves, and I also had a bunch of my own bookshelves as a kid and just surrounded myself with books all the time. So I feel very safe and at home when I am acquiring books. This is gonna end badly with all of these books in my lap. Hang on. But there we go. So first, these are not even books that I bought for myself. These are books that belong to our friend Daniel that he kindly contributed to the cause because he knows that I'm reading Wheel of Time this year. And I don't know, I'm actually not sure how far in the series he actually got, but I only owned through book 2 because I've been sort of buying them as I go. So now I also have book 3 and what number? Oh, it says book 9. Winter's Heart is book 9 in the Wheel of Time. So I do still need to get books 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 10 through 14, but we'll get there. I have the rest of the year to do that. This year, Legion, The Many Lives of Stefan Leeds by Brandon Sanderson. This is a collection of 3 novellas by Brandon Sanderson. I read the first one when it came out. I think I probably got it on Kindle or something like that. So I think the concept is that this guy, he's kind of a detective, but he also has multiple personalities, and the multiple personalities all have their own skills that help him solve mysteries. I think that's right. Anyway, since I've only read the first one of these novellas, and there's 3 of them, I thought it would be fun to read the rest of them. So here they all are collected. This is also a bind-up. It is C.J. Cherryh, The Fated Sun trilogy. This is an older science fiction series. I feel like I've probably heard something about it at some point. I've definitely seen the author's name all over the place. Not really an author I've heard anyone talk about. I usually read a little more fantasy than sci-fi, but I don't know. It's something that was always kind of on my radar that I would like to check out at some point. Now, I have never read a Star Wars book in my life. I'm not really that big a Star Wars person. I think I've seen all the movies at this point and maybe the first season of The Mandalorian. But my best friend really likes Star Wars novels, especially these ones by Timothy Zahn. And so she told me that if I was going to read any, I should start with this series. So I've been checking at the used bookstore pretty much every time I've gone for the past 6 or 7 months to see if they had this book. And it finally turned up. So this is Star Wars Heir to the Empire. So this will be my first ever Star Wars, is it the expanded universe, extended universe? I'm really embarrassing myself here. So I don't know. I have no idea how I'm going to feel about this, but I thought it would be fun to give it a try because she really enjoys them so much. I've been talking in my wrap-ups about how I've been reading the Lord Peter Wimsey mysteries by Dorothy Sayers, and here are 2 of the most famous ones that I got. The first one, Strong Poison, and then this one, Gaudy Night. These are both ones that involve the central romance of the series, where basically the detective falls in love with Harriet Vane, who is a mystery novelist and totally probably not a self-insert of Dorothy Sayers. Anyway, I do remember really enjoying this part of the series, and even though, as you might know if you've been watching my wrap-ups, I've had kind of mixed reactions to the first 3 of these mysteries as I reread them, I'm hoping that I will really enjoy these because I loved them when I read them about 10 years ago. This book has already featured in a recent video where I judged the first paragraphs of 10 different books that I had on my physical TBR. That's Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I've been feeling like I should give Neil Gaiman another try, especially because Good Omens by both Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett is one of my favorite books of all time, but I just had a bad experience with American Gods as a teenager and just have never gone back to Neil Gaiman. But a lot of people, I think, really love this book. It seems like it has more of a fairy tale, quirky vibe, which is something that I've been kind of in the mood for anyway, so I'm planning to read Stardust in March, actually. So I found a copy at the used bookstore as well, and it kind of seemed like fate because I was thinking that this was the Neil Gaiman book I wanted to give a try. So hopefully I'll enjoy it. Hopefully my next foray into Neil Gaiman will be a positive one. This is a book that I've read many years ago. It's Embassytown by China Mieville. The only other book I think I've really read by China Mieville is The City and the City, which is a really great book. And I really liked this book as well. From what I remember, I don't remember too many details about it, but I remember it being kind of a very immersive, confusing science fiction book. I think there was something to do with alien culture and language. I think language had a super important role in this, and characters understanding how to connect with other races through language. I'm probably getting this all wrong because it's been 10 to 15 years since I read it. When did it even come out? It was new when it, okay, this book released in 2011. That's probably when I read it. So I enjoyed it enough that I would like to read it again because I don't remember a thing. Next we have Binti, which is a novella by Nnedi Okorafor. I think this is the first in a series of novellas. I've really liked everything by Nnedi Okorafor that I've read. I read Who Fears Death and her young adult book, actually, Akata Witch. So I kind of have been wanting to read this, but also I never read novellas, and I especially don't buy novellas because, I mean, look how small that is. But I found a really good price on this, so I didn't feel so guilty about spending full price money on a half-length book. Well, that's less than half-length. How many pages is this? This has got to be like, okay, this is like 90 pages. So novellas are something that I actually would like to get more into because I think they're becoming increasingly popular. I see a lot of authors writing them, and I feel like I'm probably missing out by my preference for only full-length novels. So I'm looking forward to giving this a try at some point. Next, we have Any Human Heart by William Boyd. I know very little about this book. I read quite a few years ago another book by William Boyd called Restless, which is a story about a spy during World War II. That was a fantastic book. I think it's actually one of my favorite books. So I wanted to try something else by William Boyd. And I think that this is also a book set in the 20th century about a spy. That's basically all I know. I like the cover looks kind of, you know, historical. So yeah, I don't know when I'll read this, but it's something I would definitely like to try. Here we have the entire Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abraham, all in one volume. So I guess these must be kind of short books. But I've really been wanting to read this series. I still have a lot of ongoing series right now, so I'm not quite ready to start this, but I've been hearing great things about it. I feel like I'm going to really like this quartet. I think it's going to be really interesting. It seems like there are a lot of interesting concepts in it. So when I'm ready to start another fantasy series, this will probably be a top contender, and I'm happy that now I have the whole thing. I also just bought a copy of a memory called Empire. I had read this on ebook from the library last summer when I first read it. I wanted to reread it in January before the sequel came out, and I really liked the book, so I thought it would be great to have a copy. So here we have one. I think other people have commented on how much they hate this kind of cover. I hate it too. It's stupid. You just have this lift up flap that's just nothing but, you know, blurbs and stuff. And it is a great book. It deserves all the praise, but just other than that, very happy I own this now. The last book I have to show you guys is Race the Sands by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a book I was supposed to read last month. I picked it from the Magic Hat as a recommendation from a viewer, and I'm still planning to read this very, very soon. I mentioned in my last video, I just got really behind on everything in February, and I'm kind of playing catch up a little bit this month. But I still feel like I don't know how I'm going to feel about this book, but the combination of fantasy and racing just kind of appeals to me because as a kid, I really liked horses and books about horses and books about horse racing, as many kids do, I think. So just the combination of that with like monsters and fantasy, I feel like it could really appeal to a nostalgic side of me. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book soon, and I hope I'm going to really enjoy it. So thanks so much for watching this book haul. I will do another one whenever I acquire enough books that it seems like it's about time. This is not a regularly scheduled occurrence, and I don't try to go out and buy this many books, I think. But now that I have these bookshelves that have space on them, it's going to be hard to not just buy books. I'm going to have to restrain myself. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.